too smart for strangers. That's me, Winnie the Pooh. I'm a bear who takes care everywhere, and so should you be. Too smart for strangers. Be smart, be quick, be strong, and watch out for dangers when strangers come along. Hello, my name is Winnie the Pooh, as you probably already know. Since we've been friends so long, you see, I know you and you know me. But a stranger is, oh bother, not like your mom or father. A stranger's someone you don't know, and you must be careful, so be too smart for strangers like me, Winnie the Pooh. I'm a bear who takes care everywhere, and so should you. Be too smart for strangers. Be smart, be quick, be strong, and watch out for dangers when strangers come along. What is a stranger, you ask? Well, let's see. Think. A stranger is, well, it's not an easy thing to explain.
Hello, Pooh.
Piglet! Oh, I'm so glad to see you. I was just trying to tell our friends at home what a stranger is. And now I know the answer. A stranger is something a piglet is not.
Oh, Pooh, I think you mean that a stranger is someone you don't know. And since you know me, I'm not a stranger.
Yes, that's just what I said. I think. I mean, we're all friends, so you're not a stranger. And a mommy or daddy or brother or sister wouldn't be a stranger either.
A stranger may be someone you've seen in your neighborhood or places you go, but you don't really know that person. That's a stranger.
Right. And don't forget, there are good strangers and bad strangers. And some strangers, the bad ones, want to hurt kids and bears and even piglets.
No! Well, how can you tell which are good and which are bad, Pooh?
You can't. And so that's why it's important to be sissyfish.
Suspicious?
That's it. Be suspicious of all strangers. That means think before you trust anybody. Just because he's friendly doesn't mean he's a friend. Be careful or you could get hurt.
No! Pooh, just talking about strangers is scary to someone as small as I am.
Oh, it is scary, Piglet. It is indeed. But there are ways to help yourself.
Well, I'm too small to help myself, aren't I?
No, you're not. No matter who you are or how small you are, you can help yourself be safe. In fact, you have the right to help yourself.
Oh, I'm glad to hear it, Pooh. Say, Pooh, I'd feel safer inside your house.
Oh, okay, Piglet. There's a fresh pot of honey inside, and this one is empty. Come on, let's hurry. Now, what was it I came in here for? I think I've forgotten. Oh, now I remember. Honey. Would you care to join me, Piglet?
No, thank you, Pooh. You know, I feel better knowing I can help myself, and that our friends out there can help themselves too. But how do we do it?
Well, I may forget a lot of things, but I never forget 3 things we must all know to help ourselves.
You mean 3 things to remember when I meet a stranger?
That's right, Piglet. Number 1, say no to strangers. Number 2, run away. Number 3, tell your parents or a grown-up you trust.
Oh, I should be able to remember those. Could we go over them together, Pooh?
Oh, of course, Piglet. If someone greets you on the street
Someone you don't know well,
and offers you a ride or treat, say no, run away and tell.
3 things to remember and understand them well. Say no, run away, find a grown-up friend to tell. Even if the stranger's nice,
Always follow this advice. If you're in trouble of any kind,
give out your biggest yell.
then run the other way and find a grown-up friend to tell.
3 things to remember and understand them well.
Say no, run away, find a grown-up friend to tell. Say no, run away, find a grown-up friend to tell.
Gee, it sure can be scary going out in the big world.
Oh, but it doesn't have to be scary. You know, our friend Tigger likes to go a lot of different places.
Yes, he bounces all over the place.
And he knows how to be too smart for strangers, Piglet. Maybe he could give us some ideas about helping ourselves when we're away from home.
Take it away, Tigger.
Howdy-roo, kids. All of us Tiggers love to bounce, you know. Especially me. Of course, I'm the only Tigger. I bounce through from place to place, having all kinds of fun with all kinds of friends, like my best little buddy, Roo. Hi, little Palaroo.
Hi, Big Palorino.
My buddy and I go all kinds of places together, 'cause it's more fun to go places with a friend, and it's good and safe, too. You know, Roo, we're supposed to tell the kids at home about helping themselves when they're away from home.
I'd like to help myself be safe, Tigger, but I'm so little.
Oh, no problemo. You're never too small to help yourself if you know what to do.
I don't know where to start.
Well, we'll fix-a-roo that. First, you should avoid unsafe places.
What are they?
Places where there are no other people around. Look, there are alleys, construction sites. You know, those places where they're building a building or something. Public restrooms and parking lots. Places where you might suddenly find yourself alone with a stranger.
Uh-oh.
Looky, I've got some friends out there who can show us. Watch carefully now. It's getting kind of dark, and Karen, Chris, and Kelly are still playing. But Karen notices it's late, and she says goodbye to her friends.
Bye.
Karen knows she stayed too late, and she doesn't want to get in trouble. So she decides to take a shortcut.
Boy, it's looking pretty scary.
I'll say. Well, what do you think of what Karen's done so far, little buddy Roo?
Well, I don't think Karen should have taken a shortcut all by herself. There weren't any other people around.
Righty-roo, buddy. It's better to stick to places where there's lots of people. But what should she do now that she's met a stranger?
I think she should run away fast and tell an adult.
Good thinking, Roo. Let's go back and see what Karen does.
Hey, kid, come here.
No! Wow, look at her go.
Yeah, and she yelled no to that stranger, too. Good for Karen. Now, what would you do next if you were Karen?
I'd tell my mama.
Yipperoo! Tell a grown-up. Let's check back with Karen now. Well, what do you know? Karen told her dad all about what happened.
Do you think her dad is mad?
Well, he's sorry Karen went down the alley because he warned her not to. But he is glad that Karen got away and told him what happened.
Wow, I was worried.
So was I, Buddy Roo. I'm sure glad Karen was too smart for strangers. And even though she's small, and even though she made a mistake by going down that dark alley, she was still able to help herself.
Boy, I'm going to stay away from lonely, unsafe places.
Glad to hear it, little pal. But even when you're in a safe place, like the sidewalk in front of a school or your own neighborhood, places you go all the time, you still have to be careful.
Really?
Really? Remember Karen's friends, Chris and Kelly?
Sure, the girls at the playground.
Righty-roo. Now, I wonder what would happen if Chris and Kelly had met a stranger on their way home, right in their own neighborhood. Let's find out.
Well, well, aren't you pretty little girls? What are your names?
Okie dokie. Now, what would you do?
I wouldn't tell him my name.
That's a tiggerific answer, Roo. Don't ever give your name or your address or any information to a stranger. Let's see what the girls do.
Now, you must have names. Do you live around here? You can tell me.
No!
Well, what do you think? Were Chris and Kelly too smart for that stranger?
Yes, but they didn't seem very friendly, Tigger. Wouldn't it be all right to say hello and maybe shake hands?
No, Peru! Don't ever worry about being polite to a stranger. That's very important. And always keep at least an arm's distance from a stranger. But don't put your arm out, because a bad stranger might grab it.
What if somebody does grab me?
Then scream and kick and bite. Fight with all your might and try to get away.
And then go tell a grown-up.
Righty-roo, little buddy. Always tell someone you trust. That could be a mom or dad.
Or an aunt or an uncle.
Righty-roo, Roo, or a grandparent, or a neighbor, or teacher. Tell someone that you trust. Tell someone you really must. Make them believe you. Keep telling them till they do. Tell someone like mom or dad. I think you'll find they won't get mad. Make them believe you. Keep telling them till they do.
But Tigger, what if they don't believe me? What if they think it's my fault? What if they won't love me anymore?
Don't worry, little Roo, because they trust in you. That's what friends and parents are for. Tell someone that you trust. Tell someone you really must. Make them believe you. Keep telling them till they do. Tell someone like mom or dad. I think you'll find they won't get mad. Make them believe you. Keep telling them till they do. Make them believe you. Keep telling them till they do. Roo, you're a smart little fella.
Thanks, Tigger. You're a smart big fella.
I wonder how smart our other friends are. Let's find out what some of you would do if you met a stranger.
I wouldn't tell my name to a stranger.
I'd run really fast in the opposite direction. You'll know and run.
Run, 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 run.
Tell your mom and dad.
Don't go with a stranger.
What a bunch of tiggerific answers! Well, Palaroo, it's time for me to take you home.
Okay, Tigger. It's always safer to go with a friend.
Yep, and a lot more fun, too.
My, I certainly learned a lot from Tigger and Roo.
They sure are smart about taking care of themselves.
You know, I'll bet Tigger has even more good ideas. Let's check.
Okay, Pooh.
Goodbye, Roo. Huh, well, guess I'll practice my bouncing while Roo takes his nap. Hey, what was that? Somebody's around here. Maybe it's a stranger. Oh, that's not a stranger. That's Eeyore. Howdy, Roo, Eeyore.
Well, thanks for noticing me. I hope I'm not interrupting something important.
This is important, but you can help, Eeyore. Tell me, what do you do if you meet a stranger?
I can't tell you that, 'cause no one ever notices me. Especially not strangers.
Oh, come on, Eeyore. What if someone does notice you and asks you to go with them?
Well, that's a good question, Tigger. I'm gonna think about that one.
Watch out, Eeyore. It might be a trick.
Who said that?
I don't know, Eeyore, but it sure sounded like my old pal Longears.
Good guess, Tigger.
Hey, what was that you said about a trick?
Well, there are good tricks, like this one. Good tricks are just for fun, but sometimes bad strangers will play bad tricks on you.
What kind of tricks?
Watch our friend Timmy and see if you can find the trick.
Hey, kid, come here a second. I seem to have lost my dog somewhere around here, and I was wondering if you might help me try to find him.
Well, Eeyore, did you hear anything tricky?
Yep. Having a stranger ask you to find his dog sounds tricky to me.
That's right, Eeyore. You're pretty smart.
Let's see what Timmy does.
No, sorry, I can't do that.
Smart boy, Timmy.
Looks like he's gonna tell his mom and dad too.
Timmy was smart that time, but what about other kinds of tricks?
Sometimes bad strangers will try to give you something, but say no. Never take anything from a stranger.
I wonder what Gina and Jeff would do if a stranger offered them something.
Like what?
Just watch. Gina and Jeff are walking down the street where they live, but they don't know that man in the car.
Hey, kids!
What does he want?
He's offering them some money. All they have to do is come over to the car and get it.
Even if someone offered me some yummy fresh thistles, which I love, I'd say no.
That's right, Eeyore. And also remember, if the stranger is heading this way, you run that way.
But let's go back and see what Gina and Jeff do.
Oh, come on. I won't hurt you.
No!
Where are they going?
They're telling a police officer. Now that's smart.
Looks like Gina and Jeff are just too smart for strangers.
Boy, oh boy. I learned something today. Don't take anything from a stranger. Not candy, money, puppies, kittens, toys, or even thistles.
That's the spirit, Eeyore. Don't be fooled by tricks. Don't fall for a phony story. Don't be fooled by tricks. It's better to be safe than sorry. Strangers can be good or bad. You never really know who's who. So you may as well be careful in every single thing you do. And don't be fooled by tricks. Don't be fooled by tricks.
My turn. Don't be fooled by tricks. If you're not sure and you're worried, don't be fooled by tricks. Just run the other way and hurry. Strangers can be good or bad. You never really know who's who. Hoo-hoo! So you may as well be careful in every single thing you do. And don't be fooled by tricks. Don't be fooled by tricks.
Be alert,
Be awake,
be awareful, be very, 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 very careful.
and don't be fooled by tricks.
Don't be fooled by tricks. Don't fall for a phony story. Don't be fooled by tricks. It's better to be safe than sorry. Strangers can be good or bad. You never really know who's who. So you may as well be careful in every single thing you do. And don't be fooled by tricks. Don't be fooled by tricks. Take my advice, not everybody's nice, so don't be fooled. No, don't be fooled by tricks. Uh-oh.
What's the matter?
I thought of another kind of trick bad strangers sometimes try. Just watch Holly.
Excuse me. I'm a friend of your mother's. She's sick and asked me to come pick you up.
Now that's a trick bad strangers sometimes play. What would you do?
Well, I wouldn't go if I didn't know her.
Right. If she's such a good friend of Holly's mom, why doesn't Holly know her?
So what do you say?
Don't go!
If I heard you correctly, you said don't go. Let's see what Holly does.
Come on, your parents are waiting.
I can't go with you. I have to call home first.
Hoo-hoo! Hooray for Holly!
Hip, hip, hooray!
Now, all of you kids out there, what would you have done?
I'd call my mom and ask her about it.
Don't go with somebody you don't know.
I think it would be real dumb to go with her.
I wouldn't go.
Oh, pretty smart. You all remembered the most important thing. Don't go.
Even if someone says he knows your mom or dad.
Yipperoo. If you don't know the person, don't go. It's a smart thing to remember every time.
Speaking of going, it's time for me to disappear.
How does he do that?
Now, Piglet, we've heard all about what to do when you're away from your house. But what do you do when you're home? All by yourself? Do you know?
Oh, I hope so.
Well, our good friend Owl likes to stay at home. I'll bet he has some good ideas about how to stay safe when you're home alone.
What? How do you... Home alone. Yes, I know how to help myself when I'm home alone, and I can tell you how to be too smart for strangers whenever you're home alone. This is my brother Owlroy. I remember when he was just a wee owlet. He was home alone, and a stranger called and asked if Mother was home. Owlroy remembered never to tell a stranger that he was home alone. But I wonder how my friend Ryan would handle that same situation. Let's see.
Pretty complicated. Private Anderson's getting a chance to fire a Revolutionary War musket, but only under strict supervision.
Hello?
Hi. What's your name?
Ryan.
Is your mom there, Ryan?
She's not home.
What would you have done? Ryan made 2 mistakes, didn't he? He shouldn't have told the stranger his name, and he shouldn't have said he was home alone. But even though Ryan made mistakes, he still can help himself. Let's go back and see how.
Okay, thanks.
Goodbye.
You see, after Ryan hung up, he had a funny feeling. So he called his next-door neighbor, Mrs. Jones, and she said she'd come right over.
Bye.
Aha! Ryan helped himself after all, because he kept Mrs. Jones' number right by the phone. He also keeps the number of the police department handy and the number where he can call his mother at work. Now, tell me, what would you do if you got a call from a stranger when you were home alone?
I'd never tell anybody my name. I wouldn't tell my mom wasn't home. You should never, ever say you're home alone.
I'd say my mother can't come to the phone right now.
If I got scared, I'd call my mom. I might even call the police.
I'd say my mom was busy and I wouldn't tell him anything more.
How wise you all are. Now, your house has a phone, and it also has a door. Let's see what happens when Rebecca is home alone and a stranger comes to the door. Would you open the door?
Who's there?
I'm Mrs. Anderson. Is your mother home?
She's busy. Please come back later.
Rebecca didn't know a Mrs. Anderson, so she didn't open the door. Let's see what she does next.
Hi, Aunt Peggy. A woman I don't know just came to the door. No, I didn't let her in. But could you come over to stay for a while? Okay. Bye.
Rebecca is one girl who really knows how to help herself. She called her aunt, who lives nearby. Her aunt is coming right over to Rebecca's house. Now, as my great-great-uncle Oliver used to say, when you're home alone with no one else around, experience has shown you'll be safe and sound if you follow the advice that I have found. When you're home alone, when you're home alone. Never let a stranger know you're alone. Never let a stranger into your home. If you're not sure what to do, then just call up somebody you can trust. When you're home alone and you hear a scary sound, or you see someone who shouldn't be around, use the telephone. Be sure those numbers can be found. When you're home alone, when you're home alone. Be it ever so humble, it cannot be denied. As long as you are careful, you'll always be safe inside. When you're home alone, with no one else around, experience has shown you'll be safe and sound if you follow the advice that I have found. When you're home alone, when you're home alone, when you're home alone, when you're home alone.
Don't forget about the tricks, Owl.
Oh, yes, yeah, the tricks. Now, who said that?
I said it, Owl.
You certainly got here in a hurry.
Oh, yes. I wanted to be sure we told the kids about tricks.
Go right ahead.
Now, what if somebody you don't know comes to the door and says your dad said he'd meet him there?
Oh, that could be a trick. I'd call my father first. After all, my motto is never let a stranger in the house.
Very good, Owl. But what if somebody comes to the door and says it's an emergency? They had an accident and need to use the phone.
Sounds serious. But I would not, I repeat, not let him in. I'd offer to call the police for him.
You're smarter than you look, Owl. And what if a stranger comes to the door and says she's your new next-door neighbor and she wants to come in and say hello?
At the risk of seeming unneighborly, I'd say that my mother and I were busy, and we'd come over and say hello later.
Right. Don't ever say you're home alone. Ever. And never open the door to a stranger.
Right.
Well, that's all I wanted to say. Goodbye.
Of course, some tricky rabbits don't use the door. Now, there is one more thing about being home alone. What if you're not in the house, but you're out in the yard? Let's see what Sarah does. Now, that man is a stranger, and he wants to talk to Sarah's mother. But Sarah's mother isn't home. If you were Sarah, what would you do? I know what I'd do. I'd tell him my mother was busy inside and couldn't see him. Then I'd hurry as fast as I could, go inside and lock the door. Now, that's really smart. She not only locked the door, she's calling her neighbor. Sarah remembered that she should never, ever let any stranger know you're home alone. Oh, it sounds as if there's someone at my door. Hey, do you remember what to do? That's right. First, ask who's there. Who's there?
Who do you think it is? It's the one and only Tigger.
Oh, well, that's no stranger. That's my friend Tigger. I can let him in. Tigger, what a pleasant surprise. What brings you here?
I was just checking to make sure you keep the door locked when you're home alone. Good going, Owl.
Oh, thank you.
Well, TTFN, ta-ta for now. Of course, you have to unlock it if you want to go out.
Well, that was certainly interesting.
Yes, it was. But Oh, I hate to mention it, Pooh. I really do. But I think we should tell our friends that danger doesn't always come from strangers. It can be from someone you know.
Oh, Piglet, you're right. People you see every day might want to touch you. And sometimes that's dangerous.
Oh, what do you mean, Pooh?
Well, there are certain private places on your body that nobody is supposed to touch except you. Your bathing suit covers your private parts. Sometimes your parents might touch them if they're dressing you or bathing you, or the doctor has to touch them when he's examining you. That's okay touching.
Oh, but is there touching that's not okay, Pooh?
Oh, yes, Piglet. And that's the kind of touching that gives you a funny feeling inside. It feels wrong because other people shouldn't touch your private parts.
But Pooh, what do I do if somebody tries to touch me that way?
Now, here's the important part. If anybody tries to touch you anywhere in a not okay way, a way that feels wrong, tell them no.
No matter who they are, Pooh?
Absolutely, Piglet. It's not always a stranger, even if it's somebody you know or somebody you've seen at home, at school, or in your neighborhood. You have to say no. If someone gets too near to your private parts, say no loud and clear. That's being smart.
I'm not very good at saying no. Could you show me how?
Here's how. Say no. Stop that. It's not okay with me. No, don't do that. I have the right, you see. My body is my very own. That's how it's got to be. I've learned this is the time to say it's not okay with me. No, stop that. It's really not okay. No, don't do that. Take your hands away. I know I'm not at all to blame. I've done nothing bad. And now I'm going right away to tell my mom and dad. Now, Piglet, that's really all there is to it.
Yes, Pooh. I think I could do it. I'd say no. Stop that. That is what I'd say. No, don't do that. It's really not okay. I know I'm not at all to blame. I've done nothing bad. And now I'm going right away to tell my mom and dad.
And don't forget, you have the right to say no. Now, suppose somebody tries to touch you in a not okay way. What would you say?
No. No, don't touch me. Don't touch me there, or I'll tell. If you touch me again, I'll tell my dad. No, stop touching me. Don't touch me.
Bravo, bravo. That's the way to be too smart for strangers.
Those boys and girls really know how to help themselves.
Did anybody mention tricks?
Well, no, Rabbit. I mean, not yet. I mean, where are you? There you are. Well, while you're here, why don't you tell us about tricks?
Glad you asked, Pooh. Now this time, I'm talking about tricks that bad people use to get you not to tell when they do something wrong to you, like touching you in a not okay way.
No, my.
But no matter what kind of trick someone tries with you, remember, always tell your parents or someone you trust when someone tries to touch your private parts, and keep telling till someone helps you. Now, what would you do if someone says he'll hurt you if you tell?
It's just a trick. I'd still tell my mom and dad.
Good. And if someone says they'd hurt your parents if you told?
I wouldn't believe them. I'd tell.
What if someone says they'll see and hear everything you say and do?
It's just a trick. I wouldn't believe them. I'd still tell anyway.
Right. And if somebody says your parents will never love you again if they find out?
No, it's just a trick. I'd still tell my parents.
Right again. Boy, you kids know how to help yourselves, because those threats bad people make are not true. They're just tricks to get you not to tell. Always tell if someone does something you think is wrong, even if they say it's a secret. Keep telling and telling. Someone will believe you. It's not your fault. Tell. Just say, Mom, Dad, that person touched me and it felt wrong. Tell someone that you trust. Tell someone you really must. Make them believe you. Keep telling them till they do. Tell someone like Mom or Dad. I think you'll find they won't get mad. Make them believe you. Keep telling them till they do. Make them believe you. Keep telling them till they do. Now, let's see if Carrie knows how to help herself. Carrie is telling her mom that somebody touched her in a way that felt wrong.
I'm very glad you came to me, Carrie. You were right to tell me. And I'll see to it that this never happens again.
Way to go, Carrie. That's how to help yourself. And remember,
don't let anyone touch you in a not okay way. You know what feels wrong to you, and
if somebody does touch you in a not okay way, or tries to, tell someone you trust, like your mom or dad.
all you have to remember is say no. Run away from a scary person and tell an adult you trust.
My, Rabbit certainly does come and go, doesn't he?
Yes, but I'm glad he showed up.
Oh, we've had a lot to think about today.
Oh, thinking is fine, but when you're in danger, it's important to do.
You're right, Piglet. And all you have to know are these 3 important things. If you're in trouble of any kind,
give out your biggest yell.
Then run the other way and find a grown-up friend to tell.
3 things to remember and understand them well.
Say no, run away, find a grown-up friend to tell. Say no, run away, find a grown-up friend to tell.
No, Pooh, I'm so happy that I know how to help myself. I want to celebrate.
Bellestrate? I mean, Sebula. Oh, let's do it. Come on, Piglet.
Too smart for strangers.
That's me, Winnie the Pooh.
He's a bear who takes care
everywhere, and so should you.
Be too smart for strangers. Be smart, be quick, be strong.
And watch out for dangers
when strangers come along. Now remember, even if you're small like Roo and Piglet, or not used to meeting strangers like Eeyore, or if you need to think a lot like I do, you can be too smart for strangers.
Oh, and thanks for noticing us. Bye-bye.